very warm welcome for the session that we are hosting at Allama Iqbal Open University. This session, which is titled as Just Transition and Circular Economy Integrating the Informal Sector in South Asia, is being organized in partnership with IGES, Japan. And this is part of South Asia Circular Economy Forum that we are hosting for the first time in Pakistan. And once again, I'm really grateful to IGES support for this session. Um, Let me introduce the speakers, and I'd also be requesting them to please join us on the stage so that we can start the discussion. We have been joined by Dr. Bishnu Raj Upreti from NCCR Nepal. Dr. Bishnu, if you can please join us on the stage. Thank you, sir. We are really delighted to have invited Ms. Rizwana Anjum, who's leading the CM Green Credit Program for the CM Chief Minister Punjab, and this is one of the success stories that she'll be sharing about how circular economy is being integrated. Then we are also delighted to be joined by Mr. Imran Javed, who is from Khan Foundation. Will be focusing on informal sector. Uh, Mr. Sheikh Waqar Ahmed, who is the Head of Corporate Affairs and Sustainability at Nestle Pakistan, and also CEO Core Alliance, which is Pakistan's largest packaging alliance. And last but not the least, we have with us Dr. Rashidul Mahmood Titumir from University of Dhaka, Bangladesh. I think he'll be joining us shortly, but we can start the session. In context of informal sector, well, when we are talking about circular economy transition, we all know that it is essentially about designing a product in a way that its waste is minimized. And in addition to that, uh, how can waste be minimized? It has to be an integrated waste management plan or program that ensures that there is little waste, and then whether we start from the manufacturing process or getting raw materials from the source, or and then the end of life cycle management, the overall aspects attached to it. But most importantly, how it gets managed, especially when we talk about South Asia region. Within South Asia, informal sector, almost 80% of this waste is being managed by the informal sector, whether we talk about Pakistan or India or Bangladesh or Nepal or Sri Lanka. Informal sector is very important. And then because what is the meaning of informal sector? It means that they're not registered formally as formal workers. So they have challenges around their social rights, their, getting basic facilities, health related challenges, and then the basic human rights that any worker needs to get. So informal sector is very important. Plus, if informal sector is not there, waste management becomes a question mark. Who will be picking up the waste from the open dumping pits that we have? Because in South Asia, we hardly have any engineered landfill site. Plus, South Asia region is also one of those regions where plastic waste is becoming a problem, and the organic waste stream dominates the overall waste stream in the region. So, and then we also have a lot of the population bulges there. Then we have youth bulge, and then we have a lack of opportunities. But then there is also an opportunity within this sector, how we can integrate it and make them part of the overall value chain, and to make our waste management streams efficient. That is a question. With this, I'll begin the questions from Dr. Bishnu. So, Dr. Vishnu, not a very technical question, but I think because this is mostly about learning from each other's practices. So, my question is regarding, if you can shed some light on how is the informal sector and the circular economy transition is perceived in your country, and what are the key challenges that you think needs to be addressed as soon as possible? Over to you.
First of all, thank you. Thank you for inviting us to share our perspective. I will share my perspective based on the two research projects on solid waste management we have conducted in South Asia, Sri Lanka, Kerala, India, and Nepal, Kathmandu. These were mainly, one project was related to the post-COVID waste management learnings and experiences. The second project is related to gender. Something wrong? Okay. um, Crisis-led waste management in all of the three countries. There were a crisis in the west. In Sri Lanka, there was a big landslide in the landfill side. In India, there was also the flooding, and this whole waste was collapsed. In Nepal, there was a big earthquake, and everything was damaged. So after that, what were the new innovations there in that field? So based on the experiences of this, I will share with you what is the situation in Nepal. One thing, um, this concept, very powerful three, four countries, just transition we have brought here, circular economy we have brought here, then integration of informal sector into that. So this four, five, six very powerful concept are started, but I work in the highest government think tank, policy think tank in Nepal as a chairperson for 3 years. What I realize, people in the policy circle, for example, prime minister, minister, or the secretary, or the responsible authority, are not that aware about this whole integrated concept. What they do, in one way, it is okay, but once the policy people are not sensitive to this concept, and it's coming more as a jargon or more from the development sector, and in one sense it is a very much transdisciplinary type of the concept, because several actors have to be there, several concepts have to be integrated into one system, and translating it into action requires so many legal provisions, so many institutional arrangement, so many actors involved there. When we talk about the informal waste worker, these are only one group, but if we when we talk about this other concept, it brings so many other actors, policy makers are there, local people are there, the people around the landfill side are there. Um, uh, the nature of waste itself is a very pertinent and important issue. For example, the COVID related waste, for example, this PPP and this also, it is a quite a complex, and therefore that is not much happening other than one very successful example of the informal female waste worker came together, formed their own cooperatives, registered that, and then they started implementing these all concepts, because these women were landless, houseless. So they have every options for the livelihood was the waste. So they were engaged in everything, in circulating that, minimizing the waste, selling that, processing it, and attending the meeting with the municipality, all that. The message I am sharing is that at the functional level, if that is the real need of the people, then they start. But taking that initiatives into broader policy making circle and expanding it requires more time, because generally policy makers, somehow I realized I was responsible for all the ministry, all the department, looking to the effectiveness of the government of Nepal policy, and I realized that they are generally not that proactive, not that assertive. Often they want to see, confirm, and when the scaling up is another issue. So in that context, it was quite slow, but the broader concept of 3R, reuse, recycle, these concepts are also somehow posed by the donor, Asian Development Bank, in their development cooperation support, they pose. So, policy maker, I don't know what is the situation in Pakistan, but in Nepal, what I see, policymakers are more responsive to the donor than to the community. So, because of that, these provisions are there, but it is not much effectively implemented. Concept is still not clear to majority. Only those who are actively working either in research or in the development intervention implementation, they are aware, but policymakers are still one. So I stop here, and if needed, I will explain later. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bishnu. And indeed, circular economy essentially needs to be more, have a people to people approach. And if it lacks the approach, then inclusivity and community angle gets skipped. And yes, I think this is a challenge in context of South Asian countries because the development finance is shrinking. And then when there are donors, so of course, sometimes countries have to become a donor's mouthpiece as well. Based on the fact that there is an economic crunch, and it's a challenge not just within South Asia but also in Africa region as well. So to overcome this challenge, I think South to South integration is extremely crucial. South to South dialogue is extremely crucial on how we can balance it out and what needs to be done when it comes to finance, when it comes to cooperation, when it comes to engaging the private sector, especially at local levels. Thank you for your remarks. I'll be coming back to you with another question. But we do have a success story in Pakistan on how government at subnational level engages with communities and how they tailor the international best practices and define it at local level. For that, we are really delighted to have with us Ms. Rizwana Anjum. She is leading the CM Green Credit Program in Punjab, and this entire program is being lauded at international level, and it's a women-led initiative. So I would like to invite her to discuss the initiative, to present about it, what is it about, because not many understand how they're doing it in Punjab. Plus, one of the best things is that it has incentives attached to it. So when there are incentives attached to certain initiatives, people always engage. Over to you, Mr. Zwana. If you can join us at the podium. This is your slider. यहाँ से आप next करेंगे. Okay, ठीक है?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Zainab. And thank you very much, SDPI, for inviting me here today for this panel discussion. So when we talk about the CM Punjab Green Credit Program, basically it is the initiative of Chief Minister Punjab, Mariam Nawaz Sharif Sahiba. And this project was initiated as a pilot project in Lahore only. And initially, when we started this project in Lahore in December 2024, the major challenge was how to engage the communities, how to engage the women, how to engage the youth and students, to engage them for those climate actions which are leading towards, at first thing, towards achieving the incentivization in the form of cash rewards, which is called green credits. So green credits is basically a cash reward. One green credit is equivalent to 10,000 rupees. So how to engage the communities, how to engage the students, and particularly women, housewives, that how they will be the part of it. It was very challenging for us. And the second challenge which we faced was about the how to develop a very transparent and accountable mechanism to judge that, to verify the MRV system. So to handle those things, firstly, we developed an online dashboard portal. If you people were here in this hall, if they may just write CM Punjab Green Credit Program on your Google, so it will just bring towards the dashboard portal, which is the first of its own kind in Pakistan. And that is basically CM Punjab Green Credit Program dashboard portal has two parts to get access to the green credits. Firstly, individuals have to get registered over there. And secondly, they have to submit their MRV against the climate action for which they want to get green rewards. So currently, we have 38 climate actions. Out of those 38 climate actions, 15 are directly or indirectly related to the circular economy. And 6 of them are related to the solid waste management. So if we may talk about those. Uh, sorry, it's not working, I think, from here. Okay, so yeah, well, it's okay. It's going back. Okay. Uh, uh, I want to go on the slide number 6 or 7. Yeah. Next, please. Yes, next. Yeah, thank you. So here on the dashboard portal, you can see that there are 7 different interventions which are directly correlated with the solid waste management. First of them was about to collect the plastic waste bottles, to collect the small size collect bottles in 40 number, or to collect the large size plastic bottles in 20 number. If somebody is going to collect those bottles and submitting to the recycler dealer and providing us the receipt of that collection, then green credit of 2,500 rupees over 1 kg's collection is given to the citizens. So that was the initiative. So how we engage them? We engaged the women households. We engaged the students. We also engaged the like domestic workers who are the maids who come to our houses mostly, and they collect all the waste over there, and they just collect the waste and just throw it over the dumping sites. So we trained them, we gave them awareness. Firstly, how you have to protect the hazards of waste, how you have to strictly act upon the occupational health and safety hazards, and how you will have to collect that waste by applying the segregation at source. You have to collect the plastic waste, then separately you will have to collect the kitchen waste, and then we trained the households that how you can turn the kitchen waste into compost, and we educated them that how you can make home composting at your home, and how that nutrient rich compost can be used for the gardening and the kitchen gardening and for the rooftop gardening of your own service. So we trained the households, we trained the women, we trained the domestic workers for that. Then at the other end, we also got awareness sessions. We created a lot of awareness sessions and engaged the students over there that how you will have to be the part of this campaign, and how you can collect the plastic bottles, and rather to getting throwing them over there, you will have to collect them and just submit it to the recycler dealers. And also we in few of the universities, with the help of private sector, we introduced the MRV machines and asked the students to collect the plastic bottles through those MRV machines, and through the dashboard portal, we linked that with our dashboard portal, and over 1 kg of collection, we are giving them green credits. So that was the incentive for the students, and also their engagement, and also the waste management system. That the first step we adopted successfully is the segregation at source. So and on the other hand, there was, we have in Pakistan, we don't have much enforcement and the implementation of e-waste management, electric waste management. Although we have the rules and acts at the federal level and somehow at the provincial level too, but there is no much implementation and the enforcement, how to handle and how to deal or how to dispose of the electronic waste. So the first step which we taken under the CM Punjab Green Credit Program, we created awareness among the students, university students and the college and the school students. We conducted a lot of many such exhibitions and such competitions among the students, that they may collect that e-waste from their home and convert them into the e-waste art projects. And so a lot of many students are now going to register with our dashboard portal. They are converting the electronic waste of their home into the e-waste art projects. They are converting they are doing various eco-friendly student-led initiatives and the student-led eco-friendly projects, and they are sending us the MRVs through that. So these are basically the various concepts which we have given to the communities, to the women, to the domestic workers, and to also we are also now going to initiate with the occupation SOPs for occupational health and safety of the scavengers and the waste pickers. So that is another transition for which we are going. So basically through this green credit program, we have up till now distributed 42 million rupees among the citizens. More than 1,000 citizens of Lahore have actively engaged, and they have got those green credits. And the important thing of this green credit program is the transparency and the accountability mechanism. Firstly, we developed the dashboard portal, and secondly, an MRV framework have been developed and notified by the government of Punjab that how to get access to the green credits against each activity, against each climate action. Here are the MRV protocols, and one has to submit those MRV protocols through the dashboard portal, and then he or she will get eligible to access to the green credits. So it is basically about the green credits program, that how we are working for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Rizwana. And I think this is the first of its kind that we are having in Punjab. And I hope this kind also gets replicated, because this is the first of its kind, and we learn by doing things. So even if there are any challenges, under Ms. Rizwana's Anjum's leadership, they look into that and they try to overcome it, and they try to engage stakeholders. So I think this collective action approach is very much integrated within the community perspective and within the perspective of the citizens also. Thank you for sharing. We'll be having a few questions for you. I'm sure there are participants interested to learn more about it, but I'll be coming back with another round of question. My next question is from Mr. Imran Javed. Mr. Imran Javed, you have been very actively involved at the grassroots level. So you've also heard about Nepal's success stories from Nepal, from other countries, and what are the key challenges? I think the key challenge that we face throughout South Asia is integration of informal sector, and and also in Pakistan, you know that there's also a issue of immigrants, and informal sector has been dominated by immigrants, especially Afghan immigrants. So how do you see this transition, and what could be the way forward to overcome this? Because I understand, and I'm sure Vakar will be talking about it as well, that recyclers face a challenge when your local labor increases the cost, because our recycling is also informal. So over to you, please.
Thank you.
Sure.
Presentation. Yes. Basic. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much, SDPI team, Rizwana, and our respected Madam Rizwana and Bakar Saab, and our guest from Dr. Bishno. Thank you for discussion on circular economy. I'm here on behalf of Akhtar Hamid Khan Foundation. Dr. Akhtar Hamid Khan, many of you may know very well. He was a great social scientist in Pakistan and created a lot of Iceland as a hope for the people of Pakistan. Now we are also representing his work, and after that, his legacy and continuing his work as well. Thank you. We are creating a case story, and I will definitely present you. I think Madam Rizwana, yes, she said very well, and Dr. Bishno, as I was talking about circular economy and the various models in other countries. So I think we are on the right track in Pakistan, as we are also creating same type of Iceland and case study, so that the future circular economy, solid waste management, and informal sector may benefit from this. We have a case study in Sahiwal that was initiated in January, March 2025 in collaboration with the IGS and Government of Punjab. Sahiwal and the commissioner at that time was very interested, and little bit contribution from the urban unit Punjab. I will explain the whole story here. I will start my story from a little video that is coming from field. Yes, please, if you show it.
How much of a problem waste is in Bhutto Sahiwal and how Akhtar Hamid Khan Foundation is mobilizing the community. But will any of this be enough to envision a clean Sahiwal? No, not until we hear the challenges of the very people who save us from disease and the solutions that they're suggesting. Are they safe? Are they respected? Let's hear directly from the waste pickers.
ਇਹ ਕੰਮ ਦਾ ਸਭ ਨਾਲ ਮੁਸ਼ਕਲ ਹਿੱਸਾ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ
ਗਰਮੀ ਦੇ ਦਿਨ
ਦਿਨ ਦਾ
ਹਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਕੋਲ ਹੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਬੰਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਸੱਟਣ ਲਈ ਆਮ ਖਾਸ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਦਿਲ ਕਰਦਾ ਸੱਟ ਕੇ ਤੇ ਵਗ ਜਾਂਦਾ
ਰਕਸ਼ਾ ਸਾਡਾ ਖਰਾਬ ਹੋ ਜਾਵੇ ਉਹ ਦਿਨ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਮੁਸ਼ਕਲ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਜੀ ਫਿਰ ਘਰੋਂ ਆ ਕੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਕਬਾੜੀਏ ਕਿਸੇ ਤੋਂ ਫੜ ਕੇ ਫੁਦਾਰੇ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਜੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਲਿਆ ਕੇ ਮਾਲ ਚੁੱਕ ਕੇ ਦੇਵਾਂਗੇ ਲੱਦਾ ਆਪਣਾ ਸਹੀ ਕਰਾਣਾ
ਕਈ ਬੇਇੱਜ਼ਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ
ਹਾਂ
ਕਈ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਐਸੇ ਅੱਛੇ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਇੱਜ਼ਤ ਕਰਦੇ
ਨਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਕਦੀ ਮਦਦ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਚ ਕੂੜਾ ਚੁੱਕਨੇ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਕੋਈ ਮਦਦ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹ 150-200 ਬਾਜੀ ਤਨਖਾਹ ਹੀ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ
ਅੱਛਾ ਕਚਰਾ ਚੁਣ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਿਸੇ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਦੀ ਤਰਫੋਂ ਜਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਵੇਟ ਬੰਦੇ ਕੋਈ ਤਰਬੀਅਤ ਲਈ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਕੰਮ ਕਰੀਏ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਮਸਲਾ ਮਸੈਲ ਨਾ ਹੋਏ ਜਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਚੋਟ ਨਾ ਆ ਜਾਏ ਜਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਮਸਲਾ ਕਿ ਹੱਥ ਨੂੰ ਚੋਟ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਪੈਰਾਂ ਤੇ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਮਸਲਾ ਬਣ ਸਕਦਾ ਜਾਂ ਮਾਸਕ ਵਗੈਰਾ ਇਸਤੇਮਾਲ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਟ੍ਰੇਨਿੰਗ ਲਈ ਸੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ
ਨਹੀਂ ਇਹ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਨਵਿੰਸ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਆ ਅੱਛੀ ਕਨਵਿੰਸ ਹੋਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਆ
ਅੱਛਾ
ਕੋਈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕੋਲ ਸਵਾਰੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਅੱਛੀ
ਅੱਛਾ
ਜਿਹਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਕੂੜਾ ਚੁੱਕ ਕੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਨੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਬਾਜੀ ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਬੈਂਕ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਤਾਵਨ ਕਰੇ ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਮਾਲ ਚੁਗਾ ਕੇ ਤੇ ਮਹੀਨੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਕਿਸ਼ਤ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਅਦਾ ਕੀਤੀ ਕਰੀਏ
ਇਹ ਮਾਸ਼ਾਅੱਲਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਵੇਖ ਲਓ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਹਾਲਾਤ 'ਚ ਬੈਠੇ ਕੋਈ ਚੰਗਾ ਘਰ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਏ ਕੋਈ ਕਾਰੋਬਾਰ ਅੱਛਾ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਏ
ਹਾਂ
ਸਾਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਹੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ
ਇਹਨੂੰ ਮਹਿਫੂਜ਼ ਰੱਖਣ ਲਈ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਤੇ ਛੱਤ ਦੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰਤ ਆ
ਅੱਛਾ
ਛੱਤ ਅਗਰ ਹੋਵੇ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਮਾਲ ਗਿੱਲਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੇਫ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ ਵਾ
Empowering these silent heroes is the first step of true waste management. We need to support them so they can solve their own problems. Join hands with Akhtar Hamid Khan Foundation to empower waste pickers and transform Sahiwal. Stay tuned for more updates on our IGS project.
Thank you very much for watching this. This is a little bit pitch of the story that we planned to pilot a model on 2 tiers. One tier was with the
ClickUp Brain, I get AI updates on any project, so I don't have to dig through endless details. When I miss a meeting, Brain gives me a quick recap with all the key takeaways.
These are the big
Even
challenges.
long chat
So
threads
we
are condensed
decided
into
to
bite-sized insights,
address
so I
these
can catch
two-
up in
both
seconds.
sides
And if
on
someone sends
community
me a
level
clip,
as well as
Brain transcribes it and
informal
provides me with a
pickers
detailed
policy
summary. ClickUp
and
makes work
waste
easy,
management
from personal
practices
projects
to adopt.
to running a multi-billion-dollar company.
At first hand,
Click the
on
link below
ground
to create your
level,
workspace for
we decided to work as a pilot with 1100 to 1200 households so that we can get a story and get a success and what will be the learning at the end of the project. So we decided to engage the community, and as per the philosophy of Dr. Akhtar Hamid Khan, we engage the community that by when you will be able to engage the community, your activity and intervention mostly will be successful. So we formed a community organizations at Mohalla level and especially with women's and youth. We organized them, we trained them on 3 things. One is the organizational structure, how they can work in an organization, and the second, how to reduce the waste, and the third, how to how to segregate the waste. So these are the 3 levels. At community level, we trained the community and the community to check the behavior and practices of the community. So at the start, we develop a baseline from 4 to 450
안녕하십니까.
households
작은
out
수선들을 이어
of
큰 지성을
1200
만들어가는
households to check
정준이의
the
논
behavior,
정준입니다.
existing behavior of community and
지난주
how
이
they
시간에
are
나라
managing
살림에
and how
관한
they are
이야기를
using
하면서
and how they are recycling,
경제라는
how they
단어의
are
어원에
selling,
대해서
how they
언급한
are,
적이 있었죠.
are they
사람들을 구제하는 경륜이라는
selling their
거시적이고
wastes at
가치가
doorstep
담긴
level.
그런 접근도 있었고요.
So all these things
하루하루
we,
먹고 사는
we
문제라는
built,
미시적이고
and at the
실용적인
second
그런
year, this
접근법도
was at the
있었습니다.
community level, and the
둘 다
second level
나름 맞는 말이고 또 의미도
was
있어서
with the
이
pickers
모두를 아우르는
who
경제
are
관념이
directly
우리
engaging
모두를
with the
움직여주면
solid waste
좋겠죠.
management, with the pickers
하지만
and,
지금 현실에서
small,
경제라는 건
waste dealers
사실상
and said that
돈을 벌기
Kabadiyas
위해
in
벌이는
Pakistan.
냉정한 경쟁에
So we
가깝고
mapping the whole
그런 목적
community
대비
in only Sahiwal
성과라는
city for making a
효율의
registry
관점이
with the
지배하고
Labour
있기도
Department
합니다.
and with the government of
그러다
Punjab.
보니
so
모든
that
걸
we can
돈으로 살 수 있다는
transform them
생각이 점점 더
into,
강해지고
informal
따라서 다른
to
어떤
formal,
것보다 돈이 우선이고 또
associations.
최고라는 태도가
After that
자리 잡았죠.
registry, this is not
이런
a
현실을
complete
부인하는 건
registry.
구름
This is
잡는
just our
이상이거나
own level and
위험한
presented to the
이념이거나
government and
남을
presented
속이는
to
위선에
Sahiwal
불과하다고
government
치부하기까지도
as well as the
합니다.
Labour Department who are engaged
국제국가를
at that
허문
stage.
신자유주의적 보수 세력이 한때
we
이것을
decided to
당당히
organize
내세웠고요.
the waste
지금은 우리나라를
pickers
포함한
scavengers
전
as
세계를
Dr.
다시금 휘젓고 있는
Brishno said that we
신우파의
have to
사상이 되고
engage
있기도 합니다.
the pickers informal
하지만
sector
우리
pickers
모두가
to
다 이런
form a
욕망만
cooperatives.
가지고 있고 그걸 또
So we
정당화하는 건
decided to
아니죠.
organize them. Now at
높은
this
보수를
stage,
주는
we have
안정적
formed
일자리를
almost
바라고
5
좁은 입지,
organizations
좋은
of
입지에
pickers in
쾌적한
Sahiwal
거주 환경을
who
지닌
are
집에
just at
살고
the
싶고
beginning stage
또 노후를
and
평안하게
this is just a
보장해줄
little
연금과
small step to
미미한
that
노동소득을
how they
뒷받침해줄
can work
약간의
in
투자소득을
organizing
바라는
a
마음
fold so
정도는
that we
어쩌면
can also
자연스럽고 또
contribute
불가피한
as
경제적 지향일
other,
겁니다.
in other world,
그래서
pickers and the
욕망을
solid waste
가졌다고
sector
탓하는
is
게 아니라
doing as
그런
Dr.
욕망의
Krishna said that
건전한 실현 방법을 말하는 게
organization,
옳을 것
pickers
같은데요.
organizations and cooperatives
그래서 제
are
눈에는
well informed
지금
and well
물가와
working
부동산
in other
가격을
worlds.
안정시키겠다고
So
말하는
on that
또
basis,
주식
we
시장을
decided that
활성화시켜서
steps. We
자본소득의
also
불평등을 개선해 보겠다고
trained
하는
them on some
그리고
little bit
인공지능
about
산업과 같은
organizational
미래
structure
먹거리를
and
만들어 보겠다고
the
말하는
waste businesses as well
대통령의
as their
비교적
safety
명확한
measures,
목표에
their,
기대감을 품기 시작한 서민들이 있는 게
and how
보입니다.
they can collect, how they can collaborate,
하지만
how they
이들은
can
늘
link with the
불안불안하고요.
industry,
또 언제든
plastic industry
마음을
especially,
거둘 수도
where
있는
they can
사람들이기도
sold
하죠.
and how they can,
이쯤에서 잠시 멈추어
collaboratively
생각하게 됩니다.
work.
어차피
But at
남은
the,
배고라도 내 곳간만
next
풍족하게
step,
된다는 사람들도
then,
있습니다.
that we plan to
어떤 가치를
register them
희생시키더라도
with the
돈만
government. So
쫓겠다는
it is very
치들도
surprising
있죠.
for us that in
미래
Pakistan there
세대의
is
희망을
no law.
박살내더라도 내 아파트
There is
값만
no
소중한 사람들
cooperative registration,
엄연히 있습니다.
law in Pakistan
하지만
through
그래도
which we can register
대다수는
these
남들과
cooperatives
함께
in,
적당히
with
잘
the
살고
government,
싶을 거라고
for the
믿습니다.
formalization process. So
그렇다면
we
이들의
decided to
소박한
go
욕망을
with,
부인하지 않으면서
at the recent,
다수의 안정적
stage, we
삶을
decided to
가능하게
go
하는
with the Labour
경제라는
Department
건 가능한
under
걸까?
the union ordinance.
만약에
as they have
불가능하거나
already
그렇게
working
쉬운
in.
일이 아니라면
And
그건
the second
왜일까?
step,
또
we
만약
are also
가능하다면
collaborating with
어떻게
the
해서
Sutra
그걸 이룰 수
Punjab
있는
Pakistan,
걸까?
who is also working in the Sahiwal
또
as well as in
나는
Punjab, so that
개인으로서 현명해야 하는
these
걸까?
scavengers,
아니면
informal scavengers
집단으로서
and
바람직한
private pickers who are
선택을
working
해야 하는 걸까?
and a big junk in the
초대석으로
Punjab
꾸며지는
and the
오늘
country
정준이의
who is
논의
working
주제는
and
바로 그런
considering as the informal
다수의
and no one is
삶과 행복을 위한 경제에 관한
asking
겁니다.
about them and no one
정준이의 논
is talking about
44번째
them.
이야기
This
지금
is a big
시작합니다.
volunteer force who can collaborate to manage the solid waste management at city level, at mohalla level.
자, 논객 여러분은 경제학이라고 하면 무엇이 떠오르나요?
Organize them
매년
and
발표되는
we
노벨
have a way
경제학상?
forward to register them with
보이지
the
않는
government
손이라는 말을
as
퍼뜨리게
to
만든
make a proper
국부론의
registry,
애덤 스미스?
with proper
정부 개입을 통해
recognition
시장의
and
실패를
acknowledgement by the
해결해야 한다고
government. And in
말했던
this
존
way, we
메이어드
think
케인즈.
that the government can
혹은
reduce their
자본주의는
expenses
결국
on the solid waste
붕괴하고
management system.
공유의 기반을 둔
as doing in
경제를
other
만들어야
world
한다고 본
across
칼
the world.
마르크스.
So the third
인문사회
step
계열의
is the
전공으로는 예나
policy
지금이나
formulation.
경제
So
그리고
we
경영
have
쪽에
decided
인기가
to collaborate
높으니
with Urban Unit Punjab, who is
정준이의
also a
노를
partner
즐겨
in
찾으시는
this
분들 가운데
project.
상당수는
We are
경제학
facilitating
원론이라든가
at the
최소한
field
경제학
level
개론 정도는
for the
접해보셨을 것 같고요.
formalization of
자기
solid waste
전공은 그것과
management
무관하다고
in a
해도
policy
최소한
framework.
교양
So
수준에서는
at this
수요
stage, we
공급
also
곡선이니
at
한계
the
효용
last
체감의 법칙이니 하는
stage in
말들은
this step,
익숙하실
we also
겁니다.
in the last stage of the policy
또 직업,
formulation, and this will
사업,
become almost
생산, 소비,
within
투자
the
등을
next
통해
2 to 3 months
스스로
on place.
경제인으로서
So this is the
일상의
whole
경제
story.
활동에 이미 깊숙이 참여하고
During this
계시겠죠.
whole
하지만 동시에
during this whole
경제학은
process,
여전히
we
어려워
observed
보이는
that there are
학문이고
more
전문가들이
types of
읊어대는
scavengers
골치
who are
아픈
working,
수치와 개념이
in
그저
the field. One
낯설고
is who are
두렵기만 할
working
겁니다.
independently, and the second
세계 최고 수준의
who
성취를
are working
기리는
under the leadership
노벨상
of
총
Harry
6가지
Beers,
종류인데요.
some
그 자체로 학문 분야는 아닌 문학상과 평화상을 제하고 나면
landowners,
물리학,
and the third
화학,
one is
생리의학, 그리고
who are
경제학에게
working,
주어집니다.
as in the
자연과학
street, as a
계통의 앞에
street
세 가지
vendor,
분야에
as
대해서야
street
뭐
vendor,
그렇게 큰
as
이유가
a
없겠지만
food
올해
and vegetable
57번째
barter system,
시상된
they are
노벨
doing there.
경제학상에도
And the fourth
불구하고
category of,
다른 분야가
waste
보여준
pickers
것과
are
같은 성취를
sanitary
경제학도
workers on
정말
the government
이뤘다고
side.
할 수
So
있을까?
these four types of
우리의
scavengers
경제
and sanitary
삶을
workers are
충분히
working at the
개선시켜냈나
same time
하는 그런
in the same
의문도
mohalla,
듭니다.
same street, and in the same
물론
area.
반백년이
And
넘는
the
그
same
시간
situation is
동안
prevailing in
세계
whole
경제가
Pakistan and
양적으로
whole
엄청나게 성장한
So
것만은
this
부정할
is
수
another
없고요.
opportunity for the
그럼에도
government and the
불구하고
Sutra
과연
Punjab
그게
and policy
경제학적
makers to
성취의 결과물인지는 잘
make it
모르겠습니다.
recognize, acknowledge,
게다가
and
그런 경제
way
성장이
forward, step forward,
우리들 다수의
to
삶을
minimize their
정말 좋게
expenditures and
만들었는지
make them
그냥
responsible,
기존의 부자나 새로운
instead
부자가
of
더 큰 부자가 된 것에
spending
불과한
on
것은
big
아닌지.
contractors who are getting a
그리고
billions of
경제학은
rupees every
그런
year
부자들의
and every
성공을
month.
그저 정당화해주거나
There are a lot of opportunities
그들만이
to,
이해하고
to
실천할 수 있는
integrate if the
부로 가는
integration process
공식만
is complete.
써준 건 아닌지
The informal
충분히
sector,
의심할 수
which is a
있습니다.
big, can be facilitated
그래서
and
오늘은
become a formal sector,
경제학이
and the
우리
second
사회에 기여한
policy,
바가 무언지를 묻고
allow them to,
부자들의 경제학이 아닌
to make
평범한 사람들의
a big
경제학,
shift in their lives.
부자가
And
더
the third
부자가 될
one
수
is
있게만
at
해주는
the
그런
government level,
경제학이
the
아닌
expenditure may be.
빈민들의
Thank you very much.
빈곤으로부터
Mr.
탈출할 수 있게 해주는 좀 다른 종류의 경제학을 여러분 앞에 호출해 봅니다.
Yeah.
그리고 그런 경제학이 우리 사회의 현실을 어떻게 진단해서 어떻게 대다수에게 더 나은 경제적 삶의 전망을 제시하고 있는지 살펴보려고 합니다. 최근에 노동자를 위한 한국 경제론을 출간하셨고요. 그간 진보적 경제학의 비전과 목소리 경북대학교 경제통상학부의 나원준 교수를 논객 여러분 앞에 모십니다.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Imran. I'm sure Akhtar Hamid Khan Foundation has a lot of such stories, and this is one of them. And but because of time limitations, maybe during question answer session, you can get more time to discuss about it. Thank you. So now coming towards Mr. Vakar, please shed some light as Nestle Pakistan is an MNC operating in Pakistan, and you also face challenges when it comes to waste related challenges, plastic related challenges, and because of lack of regulatory policy consistency in the country, the MNCs are facing huge challenges. Plus, there are key asks from them as well. So, how do you see this entire situation of integrating informal sector? If you can shed some light, what Nestle Pakistan is doing in this perspective, and also what is the biggest challenge that you as an MNC representative face when it comes to integrating circular economy principles in the overall waste management?
Thank you very much, Zainab. I think the speakers, the panelists before me, they have really created a great case. Challenges shared by our guests from Nepal. Challenges they face, that how policymakers are more positive towards donors than their own communities. And I think Madam Rizwana has also highlighted a new project in Punjab. I'm sure it has its own learnings, it has its own challenges. And then I think it's quite a learning experience for me from what Imran Saab explained for this project. So we are on the other side of this whole story, where I think I wear two hats, so I'll conveniently change my two hats as a head of corporate affairs Nestle and sustainability, as well as CEO for Collect and Recycle Alliance, which you mentioned is the first packaging alliance in Pakistan. So for MNCs, of course, it's a bigger challenge because there's a lot of reputational risk involved when you are moving towards this side, because we all know in countries like Pakistan, and not only in Pakistan, but all the developing countries, the bigger challenge that we all face, we know the challenges on the informal sector, and it's not only the waste picker. Wherever the informal sector lies, those challenges are there. We know the informal sector has hygiene is a major issue, child labor is a major, getting a right kind of wages. Even in one of the videos that we put there, a child was seen given money and he was taking it away. But unfortunately, that's the poor people are earning, making livelihood is coming from there. So it's a very thin line how to manage this challenge. At the same time, we know the stark realities of poor who are living in that area. So that's one side. So of course, if we directly engage in that, that's a bigger challenge for any multinational, because that's the child labor or the health matters or the living wage. That's a kind of a reputational risk. So we work with third parties, and of course we normally what we do, we explain it from very start. We know our challenges, what are there on the ground, so we cannot hide ourselves. Those realities are not there, and we share those realities with our principals also, that if we go for this kind of waste management, those are the challenges already exist there. We can't move our pace on the other side that these doesn't exist. We know that. So then we try to make sure that the vendors that we work with, for example, if I'm working with someone who's collecting our consumer waste, one is internal factory waste, those are, of course, it's easier to pick. But then when the consumer waste comes in, we make sure that the vendors that are working in, at least their own sites are well covered with all those amenities. The people who are working there, they're giving the right kind of wage. They have medical checkups are regularly done. They have all the safety measures when it comes to electricity connection, that fire, chemical exposures, all kind of exposure that a human can have on that side. That we can do by knowing, the next step is very, very important, because it's not in their control as well. So there we need collaboration. And I think there's a hope when Akhtar Hamid Foundation, the kind of work they are doing, and I'm sure there are other organizations, there we need some collaboration. That's why collective actions are always very, very important. So there, I think, and in that sense, I move my head, I shared with you the challenges that we face, and we know those are there, and we can't contribute alone. And there we thought of this alliance called Collect and Recycle Alliance. So at the moment, we're still not catering the need of informal waste workers. That's again a reality. But at least on this alliance, what we have done, we have gathered all the FMCG companies, the large packaging companies, the large recyclers, and think tanks like SDPI, environmental organizations like WWF, UNDP, UNEP. We're all working very closely under one umbrella. So today we started as an only 4-member organization, and today we are 29 members. And it's a properly registered organization. And we try to work on the policy level. I think this is one policy level that we identified. We as an organization, we have not gone down to at the grassroots level. I think that's our responsibility, because we all sit at the level where we can contribute. And all these companies who are members, they're engaging with some kind of collection and recycling project, knowing this all challenges. So I think collectively we need to work with organizations like yours, and where this core is also working on the policy measures. For example, in Pakistan, I was sharing yesterday that 3 years back, there was no law in the country that if you want to use recycled plastic in the food packaging, even if it's the best recycled material, you cannot use that, because there was no law at that time. So under this core umbrella, we worked with the company, with the government, under PSQCA. We help them formulate a law which is the best which adopted the best practices from Saudi Arabia. We know this, it's a religious concern were also there. Then we have engaged with EU. We saw what are the best laws available there. With US FDA, and then we collaborated and helped them create a new law for using this recycled plastic in food packaging, because you have to make sure that that materials are safe enough to be used, because no contamination should be passed on. And it's a very rigorous law. But then at the same time, I think that's the missing part, where we are talking about the informal workers, and it's a responsibility on all the stakeholders in this whole value chain, that if we have done this kind of policy, we need to come up with, even on the provincial level. We know the labor is a provincial subject, same like environment. So we have to, and I tell you, for this food also is a provincial subject. So we have to convince all 5 food authorities in Pakistan and PSQC as well. It took us more than 1.5 years to reach to a consensus, to have a law which is suitable for everyone, and equivalent to any good law available in the world. So I think that's where we need to work together, and I think we should flag it. This is the reality that none of us has worked on it, but that's the real challenge in front of us. We should not shy away. We need to tackle it upfront, but we need to work together. And I think there I'll see a lot of collaboration can be done with Madam Rizwana, the work they are doing, and what Akhtar Hamid Foundation is doing. I think there's a new partnership I'm looking at the moment, collaboration that we can do together, and find solutions for that.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you so much, Vakar. And yes, indeed, this is what we want. This is what we seek through the STC's platform, where collaborations can be made, especially between public-private sector. And yes, I do see the synergies, of course. And I wish and I hope that the kind of good work that is being done by all of you, that's fragmented as of now, it gets through collaboration, it gets accumulated, so that the country's overall profile gets updated at international level, and the best practices gets adopted too. Thank you for your intervention, Dr. Vishnu. Coming to you again. You have heard Pakistan's perspective, you have heard private sector's perspective. So can you, I do understand that municipality cooperatives, I think this is something that we are also proposing under the National Circular Economy Policy that the government of Pakistan is in the process of reviewing it. But again, it's a challenge when it comes to shaping up the EPR, whether cost sharing model should be developed, and then the informal sector remains there. So from your learnings, from your research, how do you see that if, for instance, a policy gets into place in Pakistan, extended producer responsibility is there, then how informal sector can be integrated within that policy? From your learnings and research, if you can shed some light.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a very pertinent and the real pragmatic question, I realize. Integration of these 4-5 concepts, actors involved in this concept, in one block of the concern is policy. Often our policy are made based on more general assumption, or by the consign of the policy maker, instead of grounding really on the research base, evidence base. So this policy, and also it's not only a solid waste management policy. There are other hundreds policy are either contradictory or not supporting. So first and foremost, if we want to integrate that, what we have to do is to find which policy are contradictory. For example, fiscal provision. For example, environmental protection. For example, solid waste management. There are so many policies, they themselves either contradict or inadequate, or they don't support each other, even create hurdles. Exactly same happens to law as well, because law are very much sectoral, very much top down by nature, because the law has to control. These controlling mechanisms are very top down, and they really don't provide the space for maneuver in positive sense as well. So second important element, if any, either Nestle or other colleagues or whoever start some innovative work, very first is to assess what are the scope and what are the difficulties. What are the contradictory policy framework? What are the contradictory legal framework? Which law really are stuck to that? So once that map comes in, then there is another important block is the actors, the solid waste generator, the waste generator, households themselves, community, private sector, business houses, hospitals, school, these all are generating waste. To what extent they are aware about recycling, reuse, to what extent they see the value of the waste, economic value of the waste, to what extent. So this is awareness building part is also equally important to start with. Earlier also colleagues also highlighted that. And again, there is another very important, very crucial component is the waste worker. There are informal waste worker as well as formal waste worker recruited by the municipalities or provincial, whoever they are. And another complication, just colleagues from Nestle also shared, we have several layers. Federal, there is a federal level. Their priority, their condition are different. Then the province has their own procedure, own regulation. These are and the local government. So these three formal institutions, they have their own priority, they have their own regulation. So that makes, and actually is the waste producer, because they have also resistance. What we found in Nepal at the beginning, the segregating waste producer were thinking it is the responsibility of the municipality because they have paid the fee. If we have paid the fee, municipality has to do. Just they wanted to throw. What happened? COVID came. What is COVID? Came, the waste collector didn't come. What they have to do now? They have to start segregating, and then it started segregation, and then decomposable waste started bad smelling, etc. Then they have to make the compost, and so these innovations they themselves created. So what I see, any of the intervention at the successful level or even at the um, relatively successful level, institutional arrangement we have to look. Who is main responsible? For example, in case of Nepal, municipality is for and foremost responsible to manage the waste. But municipality alone is not sufficient because it has to get the resources from the provinces. And provinces is not sufficient because broader national law has to issued by the federal government. So I really surprised when you completed policy making and law making in 1.5 years. In my country, it takes years because once the issue is stable in the parliament, they started debating this and that. The vested interest group comes there, and then because it's postponed, so complicated. And in our case, one complication then Pakistan is India, because all our waste goes to India, and there are almost one third of the informal waste worker are coming from India. And in the COVID time, we have to give the support to them. And then municipality came with the idea that we will give to our citizens. But COVID is a crisis. We have to give to them as well. So, and then conflict started, you see. And conflict is such a powerful tool, very easily comes in solid waste management because there are multiple actors engaged. Therefore, my opinion, my suggestions, my reflection on integrating this informal economy, informal waste worker in a just transitional condition, because we are moving to the one condition to another. That is more or less the globally defined. Now we can't really stay. What is it? We have to change. So this transition, first and foremost, whatever scale, whether it is Pakistan level or whether it is small community level, first assessment is important. Assessment, law assessment, policy assessment, actors assessment, actors attitude assessment. Based on that, then engage with the community. Because I cited one example, there were 1,000 women, homeless, women, they were depending their entire life on the solid waste because that is their basis. So they have to do in any way. So in that sense, what they do, they also very proactively started engaging with the municipality. And they go, they demand, we need it, we have this problem. And earlier municipality, Kathmandu metropolitan city, they were blind. They were not ready to listen. But they exerted pressure and gradually it started. So mobilization, awareness, assessment, and coordination. These are the four key elements that makes
Thank you
proper
so
integration.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vishnu. And that was a very comprehensive assessment of what's happening in Nepal. And again, these things, if social side gets neglected, it can result in conflict, and that's what we are seeing in the region. It's not just the conflict that is in the other region that affects us, but within the region, due to it's not just always the political crisis. It's usually linked with the social aspect when that gets neglected. So thank you for highlighting that. Ms. Rizwana, my question from you is because this program is something that's gaining traction throughout the country, and of course, Dr. Bishnu, just to answer your question, why in a 1.5 year? Because after 18th Amendment in Pakistan, the subject is devolved to the provinces, and that's why provinces have the authority to take it up, and if there are good ideas, especially now the CM Punjab is very actively, she's actively engaging people for new ideas, especially around waste management, because Punjab also faces smog, and waste is one of the contributory factor towards smog. So, Mr. Rizwan Anju, my question from you is in context of engaging the private sector. Now, government of Punjab is very making inclusive approaches and policies, but so far the private sector, especially the packaging industry, has not been involved at that level. So how do you see this engagement, and are there any plans for the future for the involvement? Over to you, please.
Thank you very much. Basically, when we talk about the CM Punjab Green Cadet program, so I must say that it is the first of that project which is actively working and engaging with the close collaboration of private sector. And particularly, if we may tell you about a lot of many private sector organizations like Synergy, like ISP, Dr. Zile Mariam is over here. So we are working in close collaboration with the private sector. We are now also working with the industrial sector, like we have now going to sign an MOU with the Pragma, which is dealing with the ready-made garment sector. So, because as I already mentioned in my presentation, that when we initiated this the CM Punjab Green Cadet program, since the very first day, there were a lot of many challenges which we had to face. So, in the time of just 10 months, now we have got started phase-wise. That in first stage, we started to engage the citizens, engage the communities, students, youth, for the development of dashboard. And now we are going to engage the larger audience, and particularly the private sector, industries, packages, and such kind of private sectors. And we are also now going to scale that project throughout Punjab. And then we will be going to engage, there will be more engagements with the private sector, and the private partnerships will be more visible over there. So we have a lot of many such cases in pipeline. So as this project is now piloting in Lahore only, so when it will be extended by December, inshallah, throughout the Punjab, so there will be more partnerships and the more engagement of private sector and the industrial sector as well. So we are working on it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and I think that's a really good opportunity for all of us in the private sector, in the development sector, to engage, because if a success story is getting piloted in a province, maybe throughout the country we can engage and we can replicate it, because waste is a huge challenge no matter in which province you are. It has even reached the height of K2 mountains. So how do you manage the increasing waste in your country? Plus we also import waste. So it's not just the waste that we are consuming locally, it's also the waste that is being sent to Pakistan by other countries because their per capita consumption is extremely high. And on a very positive note, per capita consumption in South Asia is not that high if we compare it with other developed countries. But we are still working diligently on, improving this sector because our population growth rate is high compared to the developed countries. So that's a challenge. Mr. Imran, now again coming back to the question that's a very good story that you shared. Coming back to the question of informal sector, and when companies have to engage with them, the packaging companies, and also because of the immigrants policy, now the local labor has increased the cost of the recycling or collecting the waste for the recyclers. How do you see this imbalance, and do you think that these kind of policies need to be addressed in this perspective also, because our laws and policies are not actually addressing waste indirectly, or this sector even indirectly?
Yes, thank you. I think the solid waste management and circular economy is not a single word. It's a big approach, and having a integrated sectors approach. So when we are looking at just a solid waste management, is not a correct. We have to see that perspective in holistic approach by integrating all other departments and policy makers and importers and exporters. So when we are seeing the informal sectors, so this is the one of the component of the solid waste management policy and framework. The informal sector is the one key component that can play the crucial role and in this whole system. By looking our experiences and learning from other South Asian countries like Sri Lanka, Nepal, and other countries who are working on that. So we must have to learn from them. And on the second stage, I would propose to suggest to integrate the local industry as which is working in Pakistan. This is not a plastic industry. Here is the paper industry, cloth industry, and glass industry as well. So there is a lot of type of solid waste which is we producing daily basis. So we have also to introduce and include all these components and actors in the waste framework. So keeping in view this component, I think the role of importer and the exporter is also big. Yesterday, we also met with a Chinese company who are producing energy through the solid waste and creating some types of replets through this solid waste in their country. So we are also looking with them that how the solid waste is utilizing to produce produce energy for the industry. This is another component that can be contributed. During our whole story, we study that the soil at doorstep level or at municipality level is not enough. The other part that is really still unaddressed is the collection and the utilization and recycling at material facility or material recovery level that is producing huge mountains across the Pakistan, and especially daily basis when millions of tons waste is collecting by the municipality and the contractors. That is also creating a big environmental impact in the Pakistan. So this is another component that need to be addressed and that need to be included in the policy framework. So this is my.
Thank you so much. Vakar, coming back to you. You have already addressed the question around, collaborations and synergies. And I'm sure as part of CEO Core Alliance, you're working with all the MNCs and private sector companies, even recyclers, how they can better enhance the synergies and collaborations. But my question from you is again, I know it's a big challenge to integrate informal sector, but what is your suggestion to the government in context of, addressing the challenge that the recyclers are facing now, and also around waste collection? We do not have still waste sorting is not there, so that's a big question mark how we improve it. But what is your, key ask from the government, or maybe key recommendation for the government?
Once again, I think it's a very difficult ask that difficult question. I see from a very different perspective. We do a project with BEST, which is Benazir Income Scheme. And we are turning their beneficiaries into our rural salients, and that's specifically for Nest. And these females who started very small as starting at their homes, now they're converting into small Kriana stores in their own villages. Those are big in number. We started with only 10. So, and we included Hoover as a financing agent in between, where we gave them some smaller amount of money, and they use that fund to give these beneficiaries, best beneficiaries, interest-free loans that help them expand their business. So I was thinking if that can be done on this side, where rural women were engaged, why not we use Hoover as a financing mechanism for providing some solution for this waste pickers also. This will help them improve their livelihood, but also we can channel contribution from a lot of private sector companies to make it. And it just came to my mind now after listening this debate. So I've not done a thorough research on it, but that can be one good framework or what good way of engaging this this informal or the formal waste work, especially informal work. If we help them in their livelihood, and by providing the livelihood means we improve their living standard also. So by this we can create, and again with organizations that are already there in the ground, but they may not able to fund their social protection. But with this fund, which is generated by the private sector, it will be maybe a local company in you mentioned about the Pragma. You just mentioned about the Pragma, right? So there is, I was listening to someone from the Pakistan Textile Council yesterday. So they are food and beverage companies, for example, Pakistan Dairy Association. There's so many private sector associations are there. Even the Flat and Recycle Alliance, which has a very diverse portfolio and diverse membership. We all can contribute creating a fund. You have started in Sahiwal. We start probably in one of the large cities. And we fund those channels and fund that money to one of the organizations through Akuva, and we create their livelihood. So they are paid, informal workers are paid well and socially protected as well through all those kind of services that can be provided. I think that is one way to me we can find a solution without burdening unnecessarily to one sector, because waste is a mix of everyone. So we talked about the e-waste also. Madam talked about the e-waste. That's one of the waste, which probably not familiar with everyone, because we only see computers at home, and we know what kind of phones are also create waste, right? And similarly, the keyboards and all those. Similarly, all the areas you touch anywhere, you touch any sector, you go to construction industry, there's a lot of waste in it, but someone is picking. So I think by doing that, I think collaboration among all these sectors, and by creating financing through private sector, but probably through, once again, as I said, providing microfinancing loans to these smaller organizations who can be a kind of a facilitator for these informal workers, can find some solution.
Thank you so much for rightly pointing out that such organizations cannot work in silos, but there is a need for a greater collaboration. I will now open the floor for questions. If you have any questions, kindly raise your hand